Hi, and welcome to another Speakers on Edge. We're doing 15 minutes of fame, where we have voices of vision with a message that matters. And today's voice of vision with a message that matters, it's Aude. What an amazing name. Who are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I am a spiritual mentor, psychic medium, and a Reiki Master. I help people find their purpose and also create their business. I've been in this field for many years after leaving the corporate world, and I saw how much people needed this connection with the spirit world, but also their energy, both in their spiritual life, their business life, and their personal life. So my purpose is also to demystify all this kind of who aspect of the spirit world, and to show everyone that everyone is psychic, everyone has the ability to receive intuitive messages. I work with entrepreneurs, billionaires, pop stars, or like the normal people, if we can say. And over several years, I've been working with more than 900 people, and I can tell you everyone is psychic.
So, if everyone is psychic, how is there so much resistance to that environment? Because when you look at the corporate world, you can't be intuitive in the corporate world, can you?
Well, at least with my clients as a company I coach, yes, you can. I believe we kind of have forgotten this aspect of us. It's the last hundreds years where these things have been seen as, oh, it's not okay. But even before the First World War, it was more and more normal to talk about these things, like these kind of occult societies. So it's like the modern world that has forgotten it. But you can see with how much, especially the corporate world, is experiencing turmoil and pain and burnout, that people are looking for different solutions. And that's why, I incarnate in my company, being a bridge between the modern world and the intuitive psychic world. People are actually more okay with the word intuition sometimes than psychic. Then I am able to have these skills, to bring these skills for companies. And when you think about it, the best entrepreneurs, like Elon Musk, use a lot of intuition in their decision making. So it's just maybe the cliche about psychic. What is psychic? What is intuition? But at the end of the day, we all have this intuitive aspect. We are all able to find the best solution using both our logic and our intuition.
And what was it that actually put you on this path? Because you said that you were in the corporate world, and then you went down this path and you helped 900 people. And I know for a fact on your application form for the show, you've got 134 5-star reviews on Google.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yes, I loved working in the corporate world, but what I loved the most about was like carrying projects, being with teams. At some point, I was working at Microsoft, Gucci, Trainline, managing up to 5 teams. But what led me to this point is inside I felt a huge disconnection and some stress and burnout, and also something was calling me in helping people at another level, at a spiritual level. And I know that you have this path as well as a psychic medium. um, in 2009 my dad passed away, and 3 years later I started to have my psychic abilities opening up even more while I was not in the field at all. And I had like paranormal activities in my bedroom in London. So objects flying, the light twitching, messages, visions. I thought I was going crazy. And then I trained at the College of Psychic Studies, which is one of like the most recognized institutions in the world in this field. I became a teacher there. And then I started to integrate more and more intuition in the corporate world until I decided to create my company and be like, I want to be a psychic medium, but I also want to be an intuitive business coach. And that's how I help, for example, the billionaire know where to invest, which person to recruit in their team. So they use the logic, but they use also the intuition to confirm the best move for their business.
This is an awesome story because I remember when I started down that path, And yeah, I thought I was going nuts as well. And as you go down this path, you compare yourself to what's going on in the normal world. How have you been able to integrate we'll call it woo-woo, with the normal? What's your secret to integrating the woo-woo with the normal, so people don't have that feeling of, I'm going crazy, I need to be a jacket that does up around the back kind of person?
Yes, absolutely. So how I've been able to integrate it was a process. I come from this Parisian family who is absolutely not in the spiritual realm. And even when I started meditation 12 years ago, they were like, oh, are you going to, to join a sect? So I had like I didn't have really the social openness around it. So I had to find my way by myself. And that's also why I created this company, to show people that they are not alone, that they can stay modern and integrated. They don't have to play the hippie card unless they want to, of course. But the message is come as you are. And again, it is normal abilities. So it is a phase of acceptance, of facing the fears of like, will I be able to make money? Will I be able to not be criticized or be the matter of a joke, or etc. But then you see that the energy you carry is the energy you attract, and look at your beautiful energy. So over the years, I've never had like someone being bad to me. I've met so many beautiful people who were not really in touch with their spirituality, but had these deep existential questions. And the moment I started to be able to channel information, because I also teach psychic channeling for individuals, then they had this massive shift in well-being, in clarity. And so that's why, despite like maybe the so-called cliche about the woo-woo thing, I was like, it's my role to help people reconnect to themselves, to get their power back, especially in this society where misinformation is so huge. No one knows what is the truth anymore. So this is where we need to reconnect with ourselves.
I'm loving hearing your story, because this is very close to my heart too. Very, very close. And I just want to keep listening to you telling us more. When you're connecting, how do you make it so that the skeptics accept what you're saying?
Well, I think being skeptic is really good. I will always encourage people to be skeptical, because as you know, in this field of psychic mediumship, there are also a lot of charlatans. And my goal as a psychic medium, or at least the way I teach it, is keep your power. Whatever I say, see if it resonates with you. For me, being in the spiritual realm or business, if I can say, is to make sure that I'm not making money out of people. There is a fine line between using spirituality as a money grabbing thing or as an empowering thing. And you know how like a lot of people fall into their ego when they have a spiritual business. So every time I meet someone who's skeptic, I'm like, amazing, amazing. And also when you think about it, people are able to relax as well, because I feel like, okay, I come with an open mind. I have the right to see if it's right or not for me. But at the end of the day, I feel like everything is energy. So it doesn't matter the popularity, the 5-star reviews. Of course, it helps. But when you have a person in front of you, each person, and this is where you see like, yes, everyone is psychic, is able to sense, does this person feels right to me, or is it like a total scam?
This is funny. This has been the first show where you're leaving me speechless with what you're saying, because you're talking directly to my heart, and my brain has just gone bye-bye. I'm into the energy of all this. I'm just Ah. Oh, this is as an interviewer, I'm not doing my job here.
Oh.
So now, as a psychic medium, we all have certain abilities. What would you say are your key abilities?
So, you know, as a psychic medium, as you know, we start with some abilities and then it expands based on what you work on, based on your intention. So I started mostly as a clairvoyant, so with vision and clairsentient, inner knowing. And more, my abilities developed in hearing, clairaudient, but also tasting. I'm able to connect with people who passed, so generally the ancestors. Again, in the context of business, it's not necessarily what we're going to use, but still they can be our guides. I'm able to connect with spirit guides and angels. And the funny thing is, again, so I've been in the psychic field for a decade now. And 2 years ago, I started to have these visions of Jesus and Mary. And for me, I was educated as a Catholic, but then I kind of renounced it. And of course, big respect to religion. But for me, I was more interested in exploring like spirituality in general, including religion and excluding religion. But I was like, I'm not sure it resonates with me. But then I understood that with these visions, just after going to Jerusalem as a cliche, by the way, they are all guides, you know. So for me, when I do Reiki, when I do psychic, I often call on these highest beings. And also one of the tools that got in my portfolio, psychic portfolio, is I also do remote viewing. And I help my students do that again as an exercise. And you can, like the police and the army use it. And for me, it's teaching it ethically, of course. So there are lots of things we can explore. And often it's the intention that drives the tools to develop.
So, who's your ideal person that you help? Because you've mentioned billionaires and CEOs and even celebrities.
Mm,
What about the typical person?
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's like the billionaires and the CEO is one part of it. And I help everyone. I help from like the person in Uganda who wants to follow their dream. I help like the person like you and I who lives in London or in Poland, who used to work in a corporate job or who is in the corporate job. It doesn't really matter who is this person, like on the paper. It's more like if my energy resonates with them, that it is a woman or a man. I work with 60% of women, so you think about it, it's quite a lot of men when that work in this field as well with me, and it's the desire of what I see in common with all my clients is a desire of finding a way to be more at peace with themselves, with getting to the next level in consciousness for themselves and the world. So I feel like, without being a Napoleon, but I help people wake up to their own power, and this is the most empowering thing that I can witness. It's not even for my own good. It's just watching a show every day.
And for people to get back into their power, what would be the one piece of advice that you'd give anyone watching today from your heart to them? What do they need to hear?
I will say that often when you got like these little prompts in your life, it is messages, and it's okay if you don't know how to listen to these messages because you were not raised up with this. I mean, actually, when you were a child, you could hear very well these messages, but then society put layers and layers on conditioning, let's put it this way. And now is your time to go back to your authentic self. You're not here to play a role. You're not here to live the life of others, and it doesn't make you selfish, but you are here to have your own journey. And so it doesn't matter if you're not sure how to get there, because I can help you, or someone else you resonate with can help you. And you have all the answers inside, so you don't even need to learn from someone else. It is how to access the answer within yourself. So when I heard this talk, the heart has all the answers, I was like, what does it even mean? But it is this. We are all channel of messages. And when we connect to it, this is our own truth.
It certainly is our own truth, and the heart is the secret. That is the message, folks. It's in your heart, and you've just got to understand how to reach out and in to your own heart. Or how? I tell you, I am so flustered today. This has been the first interview I've had glitches with my own presentation.
I love
it. We're up to about 28 or 29 interviews so far on this series of 15 Minutes of Fame. Wow. So how can people find you?
So they can find me pretty much everywhere on social media: Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and my website, www.audefirmin.com. And it would be a pleasure to talk about these things with them. And it's normal. And that's the thing, is when you start opening this chapter, it's like, wow, this is amazing. So I wish that to anyone.
Thank you so much, Aude. Now, we're also having on our Speakers on Edge website, on the 15 Minutes of Fame guests page, we'll have your beautiful photograph with a button going direct to your website as well. So, folks, that's it for Speakers on Edge. Wow. Messages that matter today, that's for sure. We'll see you on the next show. Bye.
Bye-bye.